What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Menu TV Reviews. I am your host, Mo. And tonight, you guys, this is the last one for tonight. We're going to be discussing Power. That's right, y'all. This is season 4, episode 8, titled Higher Calling. I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend thus far. All right, y'all. Like I said, this is the last one. It's late and I am sleepy. So let's go ahead and get into the synopsis so we can get right into the episode. So the synopsis for this one is Tariq and Monet try to leverage a way to get out from under Carter by making a play to Noma. An incident with Brayden's relationship with Elle sends him off the deep end as he goes from puppy to pit bull. He finna give them pit bulls a bad name. Because not all pits are awful, okay? It depends on who's raising them. So let me go ahead and give y'all this disclaimer. So for majority of the show, I took notes, but towards that back end, I'm gonna go ahead and do character for character as far as what happened because I stopped taking notes, y'all. I got busy, but I was still listening. So we start the episode off with Detective Crazy Carter. He done went to the church. He done lit some candles for her. He got his rosary beads out. And as he's doing all of this, we hear him over the audio and he is explaining to the crew what happened to Felicia. Okay, he tells them that she died in a car crash. That was her cause of death. And a fund has been set up for her son. So, we know that y'all gonna want to donate. And everyone seems to accept the sudden awful news of her untimely demise. That is, except for Nico. And so after he's done talking to the rest of the crew, he ends up pulling Carter to the side to find out what really happened. And Crazy Carter was like, look, I know that because we are in the profession that we are in and we doing all this shady stuff, that things can get a little questionable or a lot questionable around here. But that is legit how she died. But I'm here if you need me. I'm here to support you if you need an ear or a shoulder to cry on. And he walk off. Y'all, Nico is gonna flip on him. Maybe not. So Monet and Tariq meet up and they come up with a plan to pin Noma and Crazy Carter against each other so Noma can take them out. Now this is the whole episode, y'all. This is what they're doing the entire episode. They're going from Noma to Crazy Carter, back to Noma. Okay? But if that happens, then they gonna be right up under Noma's thumb again, and Monet damn sure don't want that. Okay, but what other choice do they have at this point? You want to be up under the thumb of this crazy, unhinged uh, officer of the law, or you want to be up under Noma? We can probably take her out. We just need some time. So, Crazy Carter and Nico meet up, and they take Drew to meet with the guys who were working for Zion in the streets. Now, as Drew is coming up the stairwell, y'all, I was like, he looked like a hard Jussie Smollett. But either way, he introduces Drew to the crew, and they seem to be okay with him being the new stand-in, the new Zion. And things seem to be working out just as Drew had wanted them to. This is great. So Tariq goes back to the dorms to find Brayden packing. And so he's telling him that they got to take out Carter, okay? And Brayden is like, wait a minute, hold on. Hold up, Tariq. You are all over the place. Last episode, you was coming up in here talking about how you needed to take out Felicia for doing in Diana, and now you're coming up in here talking about you need to take out Crazy Carter. One person at a time, bruh. You all over the place. And so he tell him that he moving too fast and way too reckless out here. But at this point, that's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, because he tell Rick that he finna get ready to move out. And so Rick was like, okay, well, where you going? Oh, me and Elle finna move in together. Bro, I think you hitting them bumps a little too hard. Your whole fender is coming off. The whole bumper, all of it is coming off. You hitting the bumps a little too hard, Brayden. What do you mean you finna move in with her? This is crazy. You barely even know this girl. Hmm. And so he tells Tariq to take a page out of his book because he got all the IVs down pack and knock off course correct. And so Rick was like, how in the hell did you do that? Don't worry about it. Just know that I got it, okay? You need to slow down and you need to start moving smart like me out here. I'm moving on up. And so, Brayden is just so proud of himself. He cheesing like a kid who just got everything on his Christmas wish list. And he know it. So he's smiling, that is, until he gets to Elle's room and he finds her foaming at the mouth. Now, Brashandria said that she came in and found her like that, but she didn't want to call the cops because all of the drugs that was just laying around all willy-nilly in the room. She didn't want to get her girl caught up. You finna get her caught up indefinitely. She finna be up out of here. Y'all, she was discolored. She was foaming at the mouth. She was unresponsive. Brayden was like, I don't give a damn if it was 1,000 little baggies up in here. Call the cops. Call for help. Call 911. Help. Y'all, she ended up ODing, okay? But we'll get back to that. So, as that's happening, Reek is going to go meet up with Monet to go visit Noma and Kane and try to convince them that Crazy Carter now has them on his radar too. Okay, well, what exactly does he know about me and my organization? Noma is asking him. But they can't really tell her too much information aside from that all they know is that she's in his crosshairs. So you need to be careful and you need to neutralize him before he ends up taking y'all out. But Kane tells them to plan he ends up telling them their plan to legitimize her businesses, so they should be fine. All right, well, don't say we ain't try to warn y'all. So Monet is finna get ready to get up, right? And of course, she always got something negative to say to Kane when it comes to him and his love life. And so she starts to go on about how he's so whipped, and he's still in between Noma. When Noma chimes in, that's no way that you need to be talking to your daughter-in-law. So Monet was like, what? Oh, yes, Mom. We're getting married. And she flashed that, y'all, that rock was huge. It was a glacier. Do you hear me? That's how big that rock was on her hand. I would be nervous to just be walking around town with that thing because you just want people to rob you, don't you? And so now this really done pissed Monet off and she just storming out the door cursing like Muttley. Over to Davis, y'all. Davis ends up coming by with the paperwork, and initially he makes a joke about Noma going on the run because of all the paperwork that she done had him, type up until she confirms that this is not a joke, this is not a drill. Me and Kane are actually getting married. And so now we know that, his feelings is hurt, okay? He thought that he was her man. He thought that they was working together, that he was going to be the one to help her get all her legal stuff together, and also drop off some peen on the side. Apparently, he's not going to be the only one down in the dumps today because here come Effie, okay? Got your text. What's up, y'all? And then she looked at all three of them and she was like, look, whatever weird stuff y'all got going on, I don't want now parts of it. Well, unfortunately for you, Effie, you don't really have a choice because Noma is your employer and she lets her know that Kane, he's off limits, okay? Whatever dealings y'all had going on, that is no longer because we need to make our engagement/marriage look legit. So there will be no funny business between the two of you. But y'all, not only does she tell her that, but she pours more salt on the wound by requesting that Effie actually create all of these different pages for Kane. To make him look like he's a legit employee of her business. Create a LinkedIn page, give him some type of collegiate background. And as soon as he said that, y'all, why did McLean talk about, yeah, you better make sure that it's from a community college with his dumb ass? I was like, damn. And so, And she tells her that, and then she also asks her to go ahead and create like an Instagram page with some pictures of them and, just backlog it so all of this makes sense. And so now she really hurt. And so he tries to catch up to her. She's walking out and she was like, "Can't I get it? It's just business. Nothing personal. I got to do some work." So, now that she's got her assignment, she just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge, okay? So McLean goes to talk to Noma while, Kane is trying to plead his case to Effie. And he was like, I thought we had the understanding that we was gonna be working together. What was all the pillow talking for if you wasn't gonna take the advice that I gave you? And she was like, well, if you wasn't still married and actively trying to go through a divorce, then maybe this could have been you. This could be us, but you play it. Y'all remember that song? Oh my gosh. Oh, that was Sway Lee. And oh gosh. I can't remember the name of that group, y'all. But anyway, that was my song. So she was like, you going through a divorce, and besides, I heard that your law practice was way up under the water. You think you finna sit up here and play me for a fool? I was like, Noma, did you not do your research before this? Because you've been dealing with McLean since, earlier this season? You just not realizing that his law firm was... Okay. You shouldn't have offed Obi. You done messed up since you offed Obi. That's been your downfall ever since. And you think Kane ain't finna jack it up? But I was like, okay, Kane ain't as dumb as you think. He got long game happening here. And so he ends up meeting up with Drew, talking about Kane. Kane ends up leaving, meeting up with Drew at the spot where he beat up Zion little fight club place. And him and Drew had his pissing contest about whose boss is worse. But the fact still remains that both of y'all is up under somebody's thumb. You ain't your own boss. You following directions from somebody else. That's it. Speaking of, Monet and Tariq end up meeting up with McLean because they try to get away from up under Carter's thumb. So they revealed that they tried to give Noma the game, but since she didn't take the bite, they finna go ahead and try to give Carter all of her information so he can take her out. McLean is in his feelings just a little bit because, that's his lady love, sorta. And so, he feels a way about giving her up, but Tariq reminds him that you wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for me. I'm your client, and so you got to do what I tell you to do. And McLean ends up telling them about Noma's jet engines being the front business for cleaning the drug money, and Kane basically being her strongman until she can become a naturalized citizen to reclaim her businesses from him. And so he gives them the name of this new shady congressman that's going to be replacing Wiley Adams. His name is Sterling Reynolds. And so he was like, just run that by Carter. And if you do that, then that'll give him a good head start on where to look. Okay, cool. Say less. So Anya has a sit down with Noma because she's tired of playing these games with her mama, okay? I'm grown out here, mama. Why you sitting up here trying to treat me with these kid gloves? She can't believe her mom is seriously finna marry somebody like Kane. You are such a hypocrite. You told me to stay away from Tariq because his daddy was a drug dealer. But, my dad ends up getting his wig peeled back and I still don't have no answers for that. So what happened? You want me to keep trusting you and not asking you no questions, but you're not giving me none of the answers that I'm looking for. And so she was like, no more games. What's going on? Why are the police after you? Are they after you? Should I be concerned? What's going on? And so after 40 years, y'all, of running from this subject, she finally decides to sit down and try to have an almost honest conversation with her daughter. And so she continues to lie and pin all of the drugs on her dad, saying how her dad was this big time drug dealer, and she had no clue what he was into at first, and that was the reason why they kept her away for so long and tried to keep her safe in the U.S. and when she found out what he was doing, she tried to get away from him, or she did get away from him, but because of her association to him, then the police may be looking into her now. And so, of course, Anya looks hurt because, a glass has been shattered about her dad. That's something that she never would have imagined. But then the way that she's looking at Noma, I was like, do you even believe what your mama is saying? I don't think she does, y'all. I don't. All right, y'all. So this is where my notes stop. And this is where we go off memory. So we'll go ahead and start with Diana. Y'all, Diana she gonna get caught up. She is still having all of these huge regrets, not saying that she shouldn't. But if you gonna do the crime and you gonna be out here in these streets and you gonna be whored, you gonna have to be a little better about moving on from said crimes. So she's still out here and she's supposed to be in class paying attention. Y'all, she's on Felicia's Instagram. hmm She's on Felicia's Instagram, scrolling through. She done followed the little baby to the orphanage. He's an orphan. Um, she was in class. She wasn't paying attention. Brashandra ended up helping her with the topic that they was talking about in class. And so after class, she was saying how she don't really have nobody else to talk to. And I was like, girl, you sure? Because that's the worst person. Maybe you should just get you a diary or a journal or something, because Rashandra is not the right person to talk to. But she did give her some solid advice, because she was saying how she wanted to have another kid with Tariq. And she was like, girl, hell no. This is not the way to go. Okay, that's normal for you to feel that way after you suffered from a miscarriage, but no. I got some cousins that got pregnant when they were young, and they basically don't have no life no more. Because it's all about their kids. And not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just you got to grow up a lot faster than you anticipated when you start having children. That's it. So my advice to you would be to forget about Tariq and forget about that happy ending that you thought you was gonna have with him, and get on with your life, because ain't nothing good gonna come from that. And so I think that that might have been after she had followed the baby to the orphanage, and then she had went back to talk to Tariq. Now, as she's telling Tariq this, she was telling him how, for a minute she thought that she had all of these dreams of them being this happy family and having a white picket fence and getting out the game, this, that, and the third. And so then her and Tariq started kissing, and he goes to go grab for the condom, and she was like, what are you doing? And he was like, D, what are you talking about? And she was like, Tariq, I was just pregnant. Why are you doing that? We don't need to use protection. And he was like, girl, what? Now, granted, that first one was a slip up. That was a uh-oh. But we're not doing that again on purpose. Okay? That was an accident. If the baby would have came, then great. But we not finna do that on purpose. We young. We trying to get out the game. You just said that you wanted to get out the game. Why are you sitting up here trying to have a baby with this man that he clearly has no intentions of doing the same thing? Let it go. So she ended up getting upset and she stormed out. So then, let's go to Brayden. No, let's go to Tariq and Monet. So Tariq and Monet are still going back and forth. Um, they ended up telling Carter about Noma, and they just doing this the whole episode. It's gonna backfire, y'all. So then let's go over to Brayden. So Brayden is going up to the hospital. He basically talks to the doctor. Elle is on life support at this point, and the doctor comes in and he's like, "Hey, did you did you happen to take the same thing that she took? And he was like, no, 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 no. And he was like, okay, good, because whatever she took was laced with fentanyl. So I'm just trying to make sure, you're not in any trouble. I just want to make sure that you're safe, that you didn't take what she took. And so now that he knows that uh her drugs were laced, he ended up using her phone to talk to the her dealer, hook up with her dealer. And so y'all, he meets with the dealer. He ended up calling Tariq and was like, hey, I need your help with something. I'm gonna go take care of Elle's dealer because he sold her some laced drugs. And so he was like, all right, cool, bet we can do it later. So as he's finna get ready to do that, y'all, he meet up with Tariq later on, and he ended up taking a bump before they went in, right? So I don't know why he thought this was supposed to calm him down, knowing that it has the exact opposite effect. And so once they get up there, he confronts the guy about selling her the lace drugs, and the guy, of course, is gonna swear up and down that he didn't do it. I just sell it. I ain't the one that put it together. I'm not the one that cooked it up. Da da da. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay, you didn't know that it was lace. Well, go ahead and take a few bumps. And so Tariq thought that they was just going to be trying to scare this guy because that's what Brayden told him at first. Well, Brayden kept getting more and more pissed about it. And he ended up making the guy take like 4 huge bumps, right? Heels, not even speed bumps. And so this causes the guy to collapse on the bed. And I mean, honestly, he probably would have OD'd had Brayden not finished him off by putting 2 in his head. So, of course, now Tariq is like, Brayden, what the hell? We came over here to just scare the guy. We didn't come over here to off him. Now you got neighbors hearing noises. You got people calling the police. Like it's surveillance footage all over the place. You moving real sloppy out here. And so Brayden was like, so you the only person that could get revenge on somebody? No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you gonna do it, then you need to be a lot more calculated than this. You just moving real reckless out here. So they ended up escaping by taking the fire escape. So after they leave, the following day, Brayden goes back to the hospital to find Elle. Elle is off the vent. She is perfectly fine now. She's sitting up in the chair. She's thriving, right? So Brayden comes in to talk to his lady love, and he basically lets her know what he did last night. And I was like, Brayden, how stupid are you? And so he ends up telling her that he got rid of her dealer because she was like, I've been dealing with sickle cell all my life, and I know what addiction looks like, and I don't want now parts of it anymore. I'm done with that. And so he was like, yeah, you are. Because I handled it. And she was like, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean you handled it? Oh, I took care of it because I'm here to protect you. And she was like, no, Brayden, that is not what I wanted. And so it had the opposite effect, and she ended up telling him to get out the room. Y'all think Elle gonna keep her mouth shut? He finna get caught up. And then I thought about it and I was like, okay, if they find that guy, then they're going to go through his phone records and it's going to come back to Elle, and Elle is going to end up rolling on Brayden because he used her phone to pretend like they were meeting up. Yeah, him and Tariq gonna have to go their separate ways. So let's go over to Effie. So Kane is still trying to talk to Effie. Effie ain't giving him the time of day. She's on campus when she ends up running into her mom, right? Now, remember, her mom had called, was it the last episode? Yeah, last episode, but she ignored the phone call, right? So mom pops up on campus and she's basically telling her that she needs some financial assistance from her because Effie's molester has finally decided to up and leave her. And so now she has nowhere to go and she needs Effie to help her. And so I was looking at her and I was like, dang, she looks really familiar. What have I seen her on? Y'all, she played on Shades of Blue. She was one of the officers. I was like, I knew she looked familiar. Oh, rest in peace to Ray Liotta. Anyway, So she's looking for Effie to help her, and Effie was like, girl, I wouldn't even piss on you if you was on fire. Get out of here. And so, mom is trying to make her feel bad for her not wanting to help her, but you stay with the guy who basically like just traumatically jacked her up for the rest of her life. That's why she can't find nobody to love. She can't let her guard down long enough. That's his fault, and you decide to stay with him. So no. So as that's happening, y'all, Tariq and Monet, they still in the background, still trying to figure out what's gonna happen. And they ended up telling Carter. So Drew had went over to Zion's building because that's where he's supposed to be operating out of. And when he gets to the door, he's met by one of the Goonies, and the Goonie was like, "Hey, we not here no more because they sold the building." And he was like, "Who bought it?" He was like, "I don't know, some fancy rich dude." Okay, but either way, we don't have this building no more. We're gonna have to find another place. So he takes this back to Carter, right? Because he know that this is Kane. And so him and Carter come up with a plan because Drew had went over to he had went back to the penthouse. Y'all, him and Kane are playing tit for tat at this point. So Drew done went back to the penthouse. He got into Kane's laptop. I don't know what the password was, but it was long as hell. He got into the laptop and he saw, because Kane's phone was connected to his MacBook or whatever. And so he saw that a shipment of guns was supposed to be coming in. And so him and Carter, he take that information back to Carter, and Carter, of course, is going to use his task force to raid Noma shipment. And so they do that later on that night. And so as Kane is on the phone and I guess his world is slowly collapsing, he then gets news about the shipment getting raided. And so Drew ends up sending him a message talking about sorry about the raid, or sorry about the shipment, or something like that. And so he knows that Drew's responsible. So like I said, they're playing tit for tat. So he got them hemmed up, and Noma Noma's finna get ready to meet with Sterling, right? And so as she's having this meeting, here comes McLean. He's coming in to save the day. And so, he's coming in under the guise that you're not supposed to be having these meetings without the lawyer so we can talk proper paperwork, all the things, right? And so Noma's looking at him like, fool, why in the hell are you here? And so he ends up sliding her this note talking about Carter got eyes on her. And so she's looking around the restaurant now and she's scoping that there are like undercovers there. And so she excuses herself and she gets the hell up out of there. So when she leaves, Carter is like, what's happening? And so he's upset about it. Her and McLean are in the car and she's like, thank you so much. I was one fine hair away from getting arrested and him taking me down, this, that, and the third. Tariq and Monet were right about Carter. I don't know what I'm going to do. And so he basically tells her that he can help her, but they got to figure it out. They got to work together. So did Brayden, did Tariq and Monet, Drew, Kane. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I think I'm almost done, y'all. So Effie basically finished the task that Noma had assigned to her about her and Kane, and so she takes it on back to Kane and lets him know that she's done. And they going back and forth. Kane basically tells her that he's got something in the works without telling her that he's got something in the works, and both of them just playing hard to get. They gonna end up together. I'll be surprised if Noma make it out of the season alive. So then, Kane and Noma meet with Nico because they had got word that Nico could be bought out of the crew. And so they meet with him, and initially he had set up the meeting for them to drop off $50,000 just to have conversation, right? And so Noma tells him, what she had heard about him. And so he was like, well, I heard that y'all global. So if you want me to flip on Carter and hand him over to you on a silver platter, then I'm going to need more than 500,000. I'm going to need 7 figures. And so Kane and them basically like have to make a decision, but it ain't going to happen today. So he ends up taking it back to Carter about Noma and Kane approaching him to try to turn on him. And he was like, but I'm not going to do that to you. And so then he tells Nico to set up a meeting with Noma by herself. And instead of Nico showing up, he's going to be the one to show up. Okay. So once he get there, yeah. Once he get there, him and Noma have this conversation about Tariq and Monet being the ones that's trying to flip both of them and have them turn against each other when clearly they have a common enemy. And so now they are going to focus on eliminating Tariq and Monet out of the game completely, as long as he can still provide Noma the proper protection that she needs from law enforcement. She'll be able to break him off with the hefty price tag. And that's the way the episode ends. I think I got everything, y'all. If I didn't, forgive me. Okay. Like I said, I stopped taking notes. I was listening though. So if I miss something, I ain't missed nothing, y'all. But if I miss something, I'm sure it'll pop up in the next episode. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about it, okay? You can reach me at Me and You TV Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also reach me at My TV Reviews Podcast without the S on the end at gmail.com. Y'all, I love y'all, okay? I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Try to rest up. And that's all I have for now. So until we meet over the airwaves again, I am Mo, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.